Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rum House Pub House. Today we have a very special subject on our on our episode. We are doing rum, and I was gonna buy a steel drum for this episode, and I just didn't, at the time.
Well, we haven't received that many contributions yet.
No.
This is just as good.
I'm vibing,
I mean, this isn't our intro, so we should probably get to our intro.
Oh, yeah, I'm vibing out. This is great.
I guess let's get to our intro now. And we're back from our intro.
You should just copy that over it.
We could almost play can we play steel drum music in the background? It's like,
It would have to be.
You could just apply it as a background in.
I'd have to get the audio though.
Okay.
You'd have to
I
get
don't know how to
royalty free. But yeah, you could probably do it. Wouldn't be Die Hard.
Rip it. Beyblade.
I love steel drum. Anyways, so today, we're doing kind of we discussed this purposely doing non-whiskey themed 2 episodes back to back, just because. What am I trying to say? We discussed doing non-whiskey episodes back to back because September is Bourbon Heritage Month, and for that reason, we are going to be focused exclusively on whiskey and bourbon, for that matter, for the whole month of September. We're going to try to plan that out and record those ahead of time. We're also going to be in Kentucky for that, so when we come back, we'll have some other interesting things to talk about, trip updates and whatever.
Trip updates, new things to share.
Faux shizzle.
But that time hasn't come yet.
No, man, it's time to drink out of rum.
It's time to drink out of the rum.
Drink that rum.
Zach, you were with me. Let's call back to the Polynesian episode.
Yep.
That was a long time ago. That's
With a sweet thumbnail.
like mid-40s, I think.
I believe it was more like 2020.
Man, the
2021.
1940s? That's nuts, dude.
My mistake.
Your bottle tapped over.
Yeah. But the Polynesian episode, Shamian was great hosting us for that. That was episode 44.
Nice.
And we are on episode this is 70.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But
Bob.
Carter, you weren't there for any of that.
Yeah.
So
Side eye.
Bombastic side eye. Zach is not happy with me.
Yep. You missed out. It was really fun. We were in some guy's basement that was styled in the Tahitian, Polynesian. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can go way closer, but
Just eat it.
it's a good volume.
I think it sounds fine.
Thank you. I mean, I'll do this. It's too bad you weren't there, Carter, because it was a good time.
It was an eye-opener.
We were in some guy's basement. It was all Tahitian themed,
Tropical.
Yeah.
tropical.
it was on fire. If you know what I mean.
I loved how, his glassware was all backlit.
That's
and
sick.
He had that fake grass on the shelves. Like, I really felt like I was in some, like, tiki hut
Like, where his glasses set or where his bottle set?
where his glasses sat.
That's sick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
dope.
really cool.
I mean, I'm not lying or being joking or facetious. Like, you should have been there just to see, like, this guy's dope basement.
It was
Well,
fun.
That just means I'm
and
going
we
to
had a
have
great
to
time.
meet him.
We had a great time, and we tried a lot of great rums.
Yes.
And what was the conclusion we came to, Dylan?
Well, the conclusion we came to is like, I think for whiskey drinkers, taking a look into rum is, and this is partly my personal experience going into this statement but I think it's an excellent transition point you can make into rum. As far as like, for me, I loved it because I was able to take a break from bourbon and whiskey, for that matter, and seriously appreciate lower proof spirits that are like being in the 40s that actually offer like a very bold and pronounced flavor profile while being 40%, but also some seriously good products for seriously affordable prices.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. And this was at a time when I was all about value. Still am, but I was more vocal about it back then. I mean, we were having rums that had the same flavor notes because of their age statements for a quarter of the price as their bourbon counterparts. It was crazy.
There's a really good book. And so what essentially has happened is that opened my eye into exploring more on my own rum being. And there's a good book, really good book by Fred Minnick called Rum Curious. He's got a Bourbon Curious one. He also has another book called Bourbon, the Rise, Fall, and Rebirth that I recommend either listening to it or reading it. It's great information. It deals into pre-prohibition and brings us up to the current day, essentially, on what bourbon has gone through, and it's very interesting. And the Rum Curious one does a good job at looking at the history, and then it leads into, tasting notes and stuff like that, rum recommendations, cocktail recommendations, and other things too. So the first, 2/3 of the book is a fantastic look at the history of it, and there is 400 years of rum history that we have. And rum is a global product, and there's multiple different ways not multiple different ways of making it, but there's multiple different styles of making it. And that's kind of what we're leading into is we are going to look at a couple different distilleries, a couple different regions that make it. Countries would be a better word, but
yeah,
and a few different methods of essentially blending. Because that's the biggest thing is rum really highlights their blenders, the master blenders, and their heritage of blending.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas whiskey kind of highlights the master distiller. They do not. It's all about the blending for them. And so we're kind of just I'm bringing all my stuff that I've learned from some of my individual stuff off air. I told Carter, before you came down, that there was a couple of different things that I would wished, I could bring, but we just so much to drink, so little time.
Pow!
All right, well, let's change the plans. Zach had to leave, so it's just going to be Carter and I. But
yeah, Zach, you're saying I should have been there. You should have been here.
yeah,
I can't say that.
So yeah, I'm getting back to it. We're just gonna, share some thoughts that I had, and we're gonna share rums. And Carter and I are gonna talk about some rum stuff.
Sweet.
So this first one that I brought for us is from Plantation. It's the 20th anniversary XO. And Plantation is what they do is they're kind of like the Single Cask Nation. They're kind of like Alexander Murray. They procure barrels.
Oh, so
from
they're
different
the
places.
Private label.
Yep. But the interesting thing that they do is they take all those rum barrels and they bring them back to France. And they put them in cognac barrels for aging.
Is that what the XO is for?
I believe that's most of their line, except for I think they do have some single ones that are not. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still new to this. But this one is it has cognac finishing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing they do is they're pretty open about their blending methods, adding other things in there, other flavors. So this does have other things added to it than just the rum. There could be a couple other added sugar flavors, stuff like that.
But it's not like a chemical flavoring.
No,
it's like natural flavors.
And most of the rums that you're going to find none of them have chemical flavoring added to it. It's just going to be and some of it's tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Nicaragua has a couple different rums that they say are traditionally blended that have wines or other syrups. Honey is one of them that sometimes gets added to it. Ranzacapa is one that has other sugars added to it.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're the person that is, someone's like, I'm a Puritan, I only want straight bourbons and stuff, be aware that rum is not, it's not regulated the same.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to do some research. There is a nice thing that I don't know what the website is, but the Finnish government, they do testing on all of the alcohols before it hits the market.
Okay.
So they have a list of all the spirits that have added sugars in there.
Interesting.
Because they need to display that to customer info.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been rums that have tried to pass off as being just straight, not straight rums as a legal term, but just like no added sugars, just rum in its purest form. And they found out that they have been adding sugars to it post. An example of that is Ranzacapa 23. And it's a little bit dubious for a few different reasons. 23 doesn't really mean anything. It's commonly thought to be the age statement. The Solera method they use too is that they're using older stuff with newer stuff. So it's a lot probably newer stuff, and then it's getting back sweetened with sugars and different syrups or something.
Yeah.
But they have per liter of spirit, there's about 23 grams of sugar added.
Oof. That's rough.
So that's a significant amount.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
So and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just something to be aware of. That rum that you might be sipping on,
isn't necessarily,
it might be sweet because they added sweetness to it.
Yeah. Which I think it's interesting, but it's not like sweetness in the same effect where it's like corn syrup.
Right.
It's like more that they would take excess sugarcane syrup and add that? Or would it be...
The book talks about it a little bit. They might be adding more of a molasses base to it.
Gotcha.
It's a process called back sweetening. Back sweetening, where they take we'll just call it straight, their unadulterated rum, and then they'll add, more sweetness to it to round out the flavor. It might be spiky.
Gotcha.
And stuff. It'd be the same as a younger whiskey. They're just, trying to make it more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of reputable and good standing rum companies that openly say that they do that because they believe that it adds character and depth to it. Because in some ways it does.
Yeah,
you want them to be transparent.
I would say, I don't care. But as long as all the stuff that they're putting in there is natural and not like chemical crap, like, high fructose corn syrup and all that other garbage, I say go for it. Because, it doesn't necessarily really change your product all that much because it's not regulated under the same thing as you were saying, So I think it makes it for a better product.
Yep. And the bottom line is, be open so people can choose to, if they want that product, then they can have that product.
Yeah.
You just want to be open as a company so people can pick and choose what spirits they want to purchase.
Yep.
So, all right. But this first one, the Plantation XO 20th year, this does have a little bit of sweetness added to it. It is finished in cognac barrels in France for a unspecific amount of time. I do not believe, or I do not know, but it is rum from the Barbados Islands.
Yes.
So the island of Barbados.
Barbados. Yeah, because I have the Plantation 5-year.
Okay. I have not had that one.
It's good.
But this one, all right, so on the nose.
Ooh.
It smells sweet.
Yeah, not getting a whole lot.
Neither am I. So I guess that's good that neither one of us are just in particularly not getting anything.
Yeah.
This one I do remember being lighter. And this one's probably not. I don't know how aged this is.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be that old. There are a lot of places that do add food coloring.
I was just
Rums.
gonna say, since it's
entirely possible.
dark,
Right.
if it's not that old, how is it being colored? If it's food coloring or what?
In the same way Scotch has E150 in it, these might have flavor or dyes
Some
added
sort
to
of
it.
dye.
They might even be dyes that contribute to flavor.
Gotcha.
There is no rule that would stop them
Gotcha.
on the taste. Oh yeah, we're in rum though.
Ooh.
It's
It's like toasted coconut.
yeah, it's toasted coconut. It is toasted coconut. You're right.
Oh,
Vanilla.
dang.
That's bomb.
That's so good. It's like toasted coconut,
Apple slices,
But like-
cinnamon.
green apple, not like kind of more of a sour apple.
Dang.
That's good.
For the first, and this I put this in the first one because I honestly think the other ones are probably going to be a bit better, but
Wow. That's nuts.
it might be because we're off that, just straight off the heels of that tequila episode.
Yeah. That is true.
All right, I'm not gonna finish all these, but man, these are good.
Yeah, that's tasty.
You are more than welcome. We are in your house.
That is true.
So the price on this, I was mentioning to you, this is around that mid 50s. I think $60 maybe even. But the really nice thing about rums, they're not in super high demand, at least some of them. So this one I actually picked up for like $45.
That's insane.
So shop around, you can probably find something. What do you think on the first one?
That's really good.
Oh.
I mean, I've liked rum for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't really branched out a whole lot because I've tried, like I was saying, I have the Ronzacapa 23 that we talked about. Plantation 5-year, which is really good.
Mhm.
It's actually fairly similar to this. I just think it's more coconutty, and I don't think it's finished in cognac.
Probably not.
I might be wrong, but yeah, probably not. And then I have the couple bamboos.
I don't think I think I was trying to mention this, but the reason it's finished cognac is the company that owns Plantation had its startup in cognac, so they own cognac distilleries.
So they're
they
just
have
using
their own source.
Yeah, so they're just using what they have.
Yep.
Smart.
So they'll further age it and stuff. But yeah, it's nice.
That's actually really nice.
All right, I'll go get the other one.
And while Dylan does that, I'm going to describe what he does. Oh my gosh, he pulled his pants up. He grabs the bottle. He is pouring the bottle. He is pouring a second glass. He put the cork back in the bottle. He did unspeakable things. He handed me the glass. Ah, this is the one that I wanted. Oh, yeah.
Dirty, dirty girl.
Name's Sheila. Dirty girl. Oh, man, this just smells like a Mai Tai.
Welcome to Jamaica, man.
I stinking love it. It smells so good.
All right, so this one, I didn't bring the bottle, but I know this one well enough. This one is the Appleton Estate 12-year, 43% alcohol. The other one was 40, by the way.
Okay.
This is the only one that Zach and I have had before on podcast. This was one that we had at the Polynesian bar.
Gotcha.
Basement bar. This one's pretty good. This one's from Jamaica. The distillery called Appleton Estate, obviously.
And from what I've heard is that the Jamaican
Style.
distilleries in the style, it lends itself to the funk.
It is.
Like it's all of them are really funky.
Yeah. So Appleton has their own sugarcane farms, I guess we'll call it. I think that would be the right plantations.
I think they're plantations, but
But this is really good. So this is 12 years old. This is the first like age statement we got. And I was just telling you, this is a $35, $40 bottle.
That's what I mean. That's nuts.
Yeah.
It's just so, for a 12-year age-stated bottle of either like of bourbon, you're looking at least to like $200.
Right. It's a significant price. This is one of the reasons that Zach and I were so adamant that the value for rum is there. Nose on it is so funky. It's almost like gym socks.
It's like gym socks, but like mixed with apples and like maybe a little bit of straw, like hay.
So like, there's a couple different ways that you can be making rum, right? We all know the molasses. There's different grades of molasses. The lowest grade, I believe, is called black strat molasses. And what that means is that they were able to refine the most sugar out of that, and the product leaves a lower grade molasses.
Gotcha.
The higher grade of molasses, the more sugar they left in there. So either the less refined of a process it was, would yield a better quality molasses, which means the better the quality molasses is the better quality rum.
Yep.
The other way you could also do it is you could use the sugar juice from the sugar cane. So it doesn't undergo the molasses process, and it stays in the essentially sugar cane becomes fermented, and then it makes a mash almost.
Interesting. So it's either that they harvest the sugar cane, and then from the sugar cane they take that sugar and process it
into a molasses.
And then, they would like boil it down into a molasses, take that molasses, turn it into rum. Or you would take like the sugar cane, and I would assume you would somehow take like the stalk and put it in something. I
think they crush it a little bit and then they let it ferment.
Gotcha.
I believe. It's super interesting. The book that I had mentioned earlier talks about this, and I mean, the whole reason that those islands were inhabited by Europeans were because they were suitable for sugar, and the colonies needed sugar. Thus, that's why they had the plantations down there to supply the colonies with sugar for various reasons.
Yep.
When one of the first things that you had happen in the United States was they started bringing molasses, and New England and other parts of the country started distilling it and making rum. Well, the molasses became taxed heavily. That it was one of the reasons why the people switched over to grain.
Gotcha.
And why whiskey became the popular choice. If the taxes didn't happen on the molasses side, there's a chance that molasses might be more popular here than the whiskey. But why they did that is because they wanted to promote farming in the United States. And so you just tax whatever's coming in to promote grain.
Yep.
Not for whiskey production, but for eating.
For eating
stuff. What happened was when they started taxing the molasses down there was less demand for molasses, which was bad for business.
Yep.
But what that did is that opened up a new venue and it more easily enabled people to access sugarcane directly.
Oh, interesting.
So they were able to make the choice between using fermented sugarcane or using molasses. So that became kind of the different options that you could have.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure which method this one is, but it is so funky.
Either way, it's funky. Oh,
it's just so dark, caramely.
It just punches you in the nose.
Yeah. I love this on the Mai Tai for the floater. Oh boy. I've been making those lately. So good.
So good.
All right, should we try it?
Let's do it. Oh
yeah.
Wow, that is funky.
It's sweetness on the end. Oh yeah. It ends with like an appley sweetness.
Oh. Man, that's good. That is That's nuts.
There's a 15-year that's harder to find. I have not found a 15-year, but it's like $70. And then there is a 21 that is 160-ish that I want to find. This is $35.
You might catch me trying to find some. What was this? Appleton Estate?
Appleton Estate.
You might catch me trying to find that 21-year Appleton Estate. If this is that good for being a 12-year at $35, imagine how good it would be being 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And this is a true age statement. Rum doesn't have the same, they're not bound by age statements like whiskey is.
Mm-hmm.
Whiskey, if there's an age statement 12 years, that's the youngest thing. There are some rums that put age statements on there. It's like, oh, it's 12 years. That's the oldest thing that's in there. Appleton Estate is not one of those places that do that. They
Gotcha.
are reputable. The age statement on there is the lowest or the youngest barrel in that blend.
Mm-hmm.
But,
man,
oh
that's
my
good,
goodness,
though.
this is so good.
That is super good. It literally just tastes like you're drinking a Mai Tai.
Mhm.
It's just too good.
It's too good.
It's too good.
So after this one, we're getting into the hitters. At least my personal favorites.
Getting in the hitter.
The hitters. What do you think about this Appleton Estate?
That's really good. It's so funky.
Yeah.
I love the funk. I've never drank a Jamaican rum straight by itself. It's always like something from Barbados or Guatemala or something like that. So that's good. Super funky. Man.
All right. One more sip, and then I'm going to go get something else.
I'm going to make you work. Limpy. Yes, for whatever reason, Dylan is very limpy today. I don't know. I couldn't guess why. It's not like he was in a motorcycle accident and had to have reconstructive ankle surgery. He had to have plastic surgery on his ankle to make it look pretty again. It's over. His ankle modeling career is over. He can't wear ankle-high socks ever again. Ooh.
Wow.
Wah.
So this little gem right here is the Real McCoy.
Let's go.
This is the Prohibition Tradition Rum. 12 years old. This one's 100 proof.
That's the other thing that I noticed about rums compared to tequilas and stuff. They are not afraid to make, like, a lot of them are high proof.
Some of them are, but it's kind of hard to find sipping ones that are higher proof.
That is true.
Like the overproof ones are mostly meant for cocktails.
Yeah.
But, so this is Foursquare distill it, but it's by another company that has the Real McCoy line. So a lot of people have trouble finding the Foursquare lines, but Real McCoy
is your next best bet.
And it's kind of, depending on if it's a good selection, it's readily available. There's a 14-year, a 12-year that are 40%. This Prohibition style is a little spendy. It's about $80.
That's not bad.
But I mean, it's 50% alcohol, 12 years old. Man, it's from Foursquare. So this is the Real McCoy was a famous rum runner during Prohibition. And it has connections back to the Cutty Sark.
Of course it does.
Now, I should really remember exactly if McCoy was, and I don't. But he, he wasn't the captain of the Cutty Sark, but he was getting barrel stocks from the Cutty Sark. So he would go out into international waters on a smaller boat, pick up the shipment of spirits, run it back to shore. And he became synonymous with the good stuff, the quality product.
Mm-hmm.
People would often start saying then, is this the Real McCoy? And it's kind of interesting because that chip, the Cutty Sark, became famous too, spawning its own blended Scotch,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just kind of an interesting tie-in. I thought.
Yeah, that it's like two very different spirits.
Yep, all coming back.
Mm-hmm.
This one actually has ingredients on there, so it's got rum and Barbados spring water. They actually talk about
Apparently, the Barbados spring water is like
legit, really,
because I actually learned it on Bumbu's website because the whole thing is, the island is like a base of coral. Or
really?
if I remember
Okay.
correctly,
Yep.
it's like a base of coral or like limestone.
That sounds right. Oh yeah. It is limestone.
So
Yep.
it's super filtrated because when the water runs through, it's like Kentucky.
Right, the limestone waters.
Yeah, it runs through it and it filters out all the water, filters out the water, so they get insanely good filtered water.
There's a little thing right here. This single blend marries rums aged for 12 years, each in ex-bourbon and virgin oak casks. I did actually not know it had virgin oak casks in it.
Interesting.
Does pay to read the bottle. All right. Nosing. Oh, goodness. It's just got... Rum has an amazing note.
They all kind of smell about the same to some degree, but
I would agree.
they're like, it is that sweetness, like that appley tartness is just...
This one has more caramel, but also a specific note that I'm having trouble describing. But boy, it smells fantastic.
Oh, it smells great.
All right. I'm going to sip it.
Let's go. Ooh, you could definitely tell.
Oh, the oak on
You
it.
could taste the proof.
Oh yeah, you can taste the new oak, the oak influence. This is what rum is. This is real rum. None of that. Ron's a coppa.
Oh,
None of that.
this is so good.
Yeah.
Holy crap, this is so good. It's so like it tastes like coconut cream. It's oh my god, it's so good.
The mouthfeel is amazing.
It's immaculate. It's so good.
Yep. Whenever I get bored of whiskey, I'm like, all right, it's a rum night.
Holy crap.
This sits on the shelf. There's a store, my source will not be revealed, but there's a store that has like 5 bottles of this, and I'm just like, I'm going to have to go over there and just probably buy.
Dude, this is so good. Like, that is so stinking good.
This is from 2020, commemorating, well, supposedly the 1920, I'm assuming when the rum running started for real McCoy here.
The Prohibition style.
Yeah.
Is the 2020 release.
Right. Well, Prohibition didn't start in 2020, or 1920.
Yeah.
But this is commemorating that date. I'm assuming this is probably when this Bill McCoy started rum running. And then it's commemorating that. But this was released in 3 years ago.
That bottle is like special release bottle.
Yeah. They have a normal 12 year, but it's like 45%.
I bet it's still pretty good though.
I bet it is.
But man, that extra proofing really just
it's like for
boom.
me, this is pretty much perfect as far as where it lands.
It's so good. Holy crap, man, I cannot believe how good that is.
That extra virgin oak though just makes it a little bit.
It pops.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not because it's not flat at all. It's got a very specific flavor, and then it pops.
I bet somebody would say it's probably over oaked because it is very pronounced, but I love it.
Oh yeah, it's great. That is super good.
I think there's a 14 year. I think I said that.
You did.
I have not had the other ones.
Man, that's so stinking good.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I see why that's your like go to.
Because it's not super like proofy, 50% respectable. But for rum, oh my goodness, it's so good at 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
there's a lot of other different brands that are really good. An example is like Eldorado 12, 15-year. Dorley's is also a Foursquare brand. They have an 8-year, a XO, and then they have a 12, and then outside of the United States, there's a 14.
Oh.
But the 12 is really good too.
Cool.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common thing that there's a lot of
rum with age statements that are cheap, and those are also like $35.
Well, age statements, yes, but it's a lot of private labeling.
Yeah. Well, so the Dorley's brand actually does have a history. It was a famous, a well-known brand in the 20th century, and then they got bought by Foursquare.
Ah, okay, that makes more sense.
So
that makes sense.
And then they have Foursquare has another brand called Seal. I think it's RL Seal. That they have a 10-year age statement and then 12-year, which I have not been able to find the 12-year. But the 10-year is also like $35, 43%, just solid.
That's insane.
It's so good. Well, final thoughts on the real McCoy.
That's the real McCoy.
It was a real McCoy.
That is the real McCoy, I would say. That is super good. Oh, rum. Rum. Delicious. My delicious rum. Bum. Dylan is playing music over there with the bottles and the cups and the glasses and the things. Rum is top tier so far, but let's see if it gets better. Now, I've heard a lot about these from you, this specific brand, and you like rave about them. So I am excited.
I think this statement would be accurate. I believe so. Foursquare. This is Foursquare 2010 single blend rum, the exceptional cask selection. This is 12 years old, blend of pot and column, all ex-bourbon.
Okay.
And this is 60%.
What?
Yep. Foursquare is a brand. I mean, obviously they make real McCoy, so we've had some stuff from them. They are probably the equivalent. They're like the Buffalo Trace of rum.
Oh.
Well, I mean, as far as rums goes, they probably have the most recognition for making quality product.
But they're like significantly easier to find than like a Buffalo Trace. They are.
But as far as rum goes, they're hard to find. As far as rum goes, they're hard to find. The exceptional cask series are probably the easiest ones to find. There's always every year there's a new edition.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like they're a narrower view on a specific year.
Okay.
So they kind of highlight that. They're not like a as far as wine goes, there's like it's not a
it's not like a specific vintage.
It's not yeah. I mean, you could. I think that's kind of the thought is like you could think of these kind of like vintages.
Okay.
So there's like a 2009, 2010, etc.
Gotcha.
The 2010 ones are the newest. This came out in July 2022. I haven't seen a 21 yet.
Okay.
But they're 12 years old, so this is when hypothetically they were distilled was 2010.
Yeah.
So I do have a 2009, which is also really good. But yeah, 60%, 12 years old, ex-bourbon.
Dang, 60%.
This retails for $95.
Okay. That's not bad.
Cask strength, 12 years old. Take it for what you will.
I mean, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
But that's me.
I saw one of these today. So these are easier to find.
Yeah.
But you'll have to look for them.
That's fine.
So, all right.
How it's supposed to be.
The nose is really similar to the other ones. Less oak. Really.
That's crazy. We just found out why Zach had to leave. So, that's interesting. Moral of the story is don't sell anything.
Yeah, just buy rum.
Yeah, just buy rum.
Buy rum. All things good. All things are good with rum.
All things are good now.
This nose is so good. It smells 80%, 90% the same. There's less oak on this. This is all ex-bourbon. That's probably why.
Probably.
So let's go on the taste.
Get it. Wow.
Oh yeah, baby.
I mean, you can really taste that proof.
But it's not like an alcoholic.
No, but it's like
flavor.
Those
it's all
flavors,
flavor.
They're so intense.
Oh yeah.
They're so.
It's so much brown sugar and cinnamon and vanilla.
So much, yeah, like spice. A lot of spice on it. That's just, man, that is insane.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah, it doesn't burn at all. It's just very
cheap proofy.
Intense. Yeah, it's proofy, and it's intense, but it's not.
Well, so here's the problem: is like now we've experienced this. I have a hard time going back to like Ronzacapa and Diplomatico.
Yeah,
it's just like these are good, but they're not
that good.
Yeah, like it's hard to explain.
It's like once you get into that step above,
yeah,
and you kind of you immerse yourself in that. You're just like, man, I don't want to go back because this is just so much better.
It's like the Diplomatico, for example, is good. It tastes great.
It is good.
But the problem is you can tell it's sweet. And I find that I'm inching further and further away from sweet things.
Uh-huh.
And this is so packed with flavor without being sweet.
Yeah, but it's like sweet, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yes, it's made from sugarcane, but it's sweet, but with so many extra supporting flavors to it.
Yep. But I think that's part of the reasons. Like you can tell that the flavors, a lot of them are coming from other places that isn't the rum.
Yeah.
And that's and for me, it's just like I almost want I'm more impressed with the spirits that can pull off those flavors without the addition of external flavors.
Mm-hmm.
And they can highlight just the rum and just the barrel.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's amazing to me.
It's super good.
Yeah.
That is, I kind of want to find a bottle of that now. That's really good.
I'm going to be looking when we're going to Kentucky. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be looking for rum.
I'm going to be looking for tequila.
Well, you guys are looking for bourbon.
They're looking for bourbon. We're looking for rum and tequila.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
I'm going to grab the next one.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's really good. Rum, 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 rum. Everything has been super great. It's kind of interesting. The Jamaican like funky flavor, I've only ever tasted in a Mai Tai because I'm assuming they add like Jamaican rum into it. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of a nice funky flavor, a big funky Kong.
All right, and I should add that like Foursquare does make, and so does Real McCoy. They make like a 5-year and younger stuff for cocktail.
Oh, really?
Making, and then,
which I'm assuming is probably like $25.
Yeah, it's not that expensive. It's not expensive.
That's just
they do make a spice rum too.
That's what blows my mind, and I'm assuming it's got to be something to do with. I don't know if it's demand or if it's how simple the product, like what they use to distill, like sugarcane is that easy to grow, but something has got to keep the price down.
So it's almost like you knew what I wanted to talk about. When the United States bought the Virgin Islands, they made an agreement with the local government for a subsidized tax of rum.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a set percentage that goes back to local government on any imports on rum.
So it would be the government of the Virgin Islands.
Correct.
Gotcha.
They get money from the United States to be put towards whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The United States also has essentially set a flat price for molasses, which helps the distilleries, the big distilleries such as Captain Morgan and what's the other one?
Captain Morgan, Bacardi.
There are some reports that Bacardi essentially doesn't really spend, like they don't spend any money on making rum.
So they're basically all profit.
They're all profit because they are getting they explain it so much better in the book, but it's like through one way or another, whether if it's corrupt business practices or not, they are getting money from essentially the government.
Mm-hmm.
And they also wrote to the United States Congress, I forget when this was, to receive grant money to update their distillery. And they granted it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the reason why, Costa Rica, another
like Puerto Rico and
other United States territories don't want to become states because they will lose the grant money and some of the stuff that has been put in place when they were purchased.
Gotcha.
And if they become states, all that stuff would be reworked.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't get the grant money they get.
Yeah, because right now they can kind of like
mm-hmm.
not necessarily play the system, but use it to their advantage.
So it's believed that essentially the money that like Captain Morgan is getting, they're spending it on ads, and it helps them to buy resources. And it's believed that they are a zero, like all their money is being from the government is being put in there, and they're making 100% profit.
That's insane.
The books said they were getting like somebody was going to get like $30 million over the course of 10 years from the United States government.
Whoa.
And it's just nuts because it's all set up from like when they were purchased.
That's crazy.
And these distilleries are like getting tax money.
Yeah, they're just like, give it to me.
Yeah. It's insane.
That's crazy.
And they're producing rum for the world.
Yeah, so I mean, they're just taking advantage of it and spending it through
nuts.
This global market.
And Bacardi's buying distilleries left and right.
They're just able to make bank. And on top of that, they're able to expand. So
I highly recommend going and listen to Rum Curious. They talk about it.
Okay.
It's nuts. Like how those distilleries work.
Okay. I'll have to check it out because that's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah. Foursquare, on the other hand, I don't believe gets any of that grant money.
Mm.
So this one is Sovereignty. This is ex-bourbon and ex-sherry.
Ooh.
14 years old. Pot and column still.
Sweet.
62%.
Holy crap. Where is Foursquare distilled?
Barbados.
It is also Barbados.
Yep.
And everything that is Foursquare is their distillate, not
correct.
Somebody else's.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Oh man, it's so sweet on the nose.
Oh man. It just is. It's just smells sugary.
So they're not adding wine to this. This is finishing.
That's crazy.
This is finishing. There's nothing. They're not going there pouring straight port or whatever into it. It's like, oh. This is why I have so much respect for it. And then when I see another company has rum and they're just adding wine, it just feels lazy.
Yeah. Bumbu.
But I shouldn't feel that way because I don't care. Like I haven't had any part to it, but it makes me just want to drink the people that are doing it the harder way.
Well, it's because the product is somehow better.
Yeah.
And they're making it more difficult for themselves. So
they're focused on the art.
Exactly.
But all right, we gotta taste this.
Ooh.
Best one yet.
Woo.
It's so good.
Man, that lingers.
It does. All of them linger.
That lingers.
I love Rum so much.
So good.
I've been nursing this one for a while.
Yeah, I'm assuming that might be a little bit more difficult to find. So,
Yeah.
Man, it's so good, and I love that they're higher proof.
I know.
Because I really feel like it's hard to find like rum and tequila that are higher proof.
It is.
And they're like actually good.
Absolutely.
Because they might be high proof, but they're probably just high proof because they want it to be high proof and it's not really taste good.
No, they're doing an amazing job. I would love to visit that distillery one day.
That'd be fun. That'd be super fun.
It's just so good.
Super good.
I hope I find rums on the trip, because I hope I'm looking like under people's radar.
Yes.
People are looking for bourbons. I'm looking for rum.
We're looking for rum, man.
I just sit back and enjoy this.
Man. The thing that I like about these is the higher proof. I feel like they're way easier to drink than bourbon and rye and that kind of, because the bourbon and the rye gets a little spicy and it kind of like tingle, like it kind of burns a little bit on the back of your throat and that kind of stuff. This is just sweet, and it's not necessarily smooth.
But it's got baking spice to it.
Yeah, it's like it's punchy.
That's how the alcohol is it's not like it's not like a sharpness
No,
like vodka is,
Mhm.
but it turns into a very well-rounded baking spice that's very complex and super flavorful.
Yeah, like that sugar is just working its magic.
Yep.
It's so good. Man.
Dude, it's my eyes have been opened to rum.
Yeah, this might be a problem.
It's so dang good.
It's so good.
It's got me looking now. Whenever I go in the store, I'm always checking the rum section.
Like it's so good to the point that like bourbon is great, but rum is awesome.
Well, let's put it, comparison. $100 bottle of whiskey. Phoenix.
Yeah.
Innkeepers. We're talking Booker's. Old Elk store picks.
Yep. Let's see, what else? Jack Daniel's 10. But $100 rum?
And this was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And cask strength.
And
this is 110. It's like, dude.
Insane.
Even at the expensive rums, the value is still there.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh, man. I love sherry finishing.
Super good.
We'll have to save Zach some. I'm sad he had to go, but he'll have the opportunity to taste these.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Mucho good.
So what are your thoughts on this Foursquare?
Man, it's good.
How much are they? I need to go out and find some. Like, where are you?
Okay, so basically, the first one, the EXO, was really good. Like, it was good. Appleton is one of those that I think for the price I need to have.
That's like a daily.
It's a daily, but I think I could use it in.
Oh yeah.
It for the price for a 12-year product.
I do not feel bad. I will sip on it still.
Use
straight.
that. Yeah.
But I don't feel bad at all using it in a Mai Tai.
No,
because it's got the perfect amount of earthiness to counter sweetness.
Yep. It's got the perfect amount of Jamaican funk on it to put it in a Mai Tai or put it in. Honestly, I think it would be really good if you did a normal or like a white rum or a normal dark rum or like a Barbados dark rum, and then did a little bit of the Jamaican rum in like a painkiller.
Yeah.
And you kind of blend that all together with a coconut cream. Oh, it'd be so good.
No, for sure.
Super good.
And the Foursquares or the real McCoy?
Ah, man. Yeah. The real McCoy, the 12-year prohibition was insane. Like, that was super, super good. What has surprised me is just the amount of, like creaminess you get it literally tastes like a heavy cream.
Yeah.
It's so just, and it's not necessarily like viscous, but it's got a thickness to it somehow that just kind of sits there, and it's like, ooh.
And I mean, we haven't talked about how long it lingers. This lingers so long. Like
So long.
It's got to be the longest thing flavor wise that sticks around.
Yeah, it's super good. And yeah, definitely the 2010. If I could find a bottle, which like you were saying, they're a little bit easier to find. Definitely buying a bottle of that. Sovereign, if I find a bottle, buying a bottle of that. Like pretty much anything I feel that's like Foursquare at this point.
Dude, if you see anything that's not if you see anything Foursquare,
I'm buying it.
And I don't have it, let me know.
Because like I want these. Like they're really good.
Man, no, it's so good.
That's so good.
And you know what else that I feel it makes me happy that these are sitting on the shelves in places.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that in whiskey.
Mm-mm.
We have come into this market at our age. Whiskey is already blown up. There isn't anything that's like a hidden gem that sits on the shelf, really.
No.
Rum is kind of like one of those last oases that you can find something that you fall in love with that not many other people know about.
Yeah, and that's kind of the fun thing that I think about this is I feel like a lot of people, again, kind of like tequila, see rum as a more so
a party mixer.
So it's always like Bacardi or Captain Morgan or Kraken, and it's always Coke or crappy Mai Tais or that kind of stuff, like tropical drinks. But I never think of it as a more higher end sipping
product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's whereas, the tequila is a little bit more expensive now. I think that the rum has kind of set itself apart in that fact.
Yeah.
So
totally
super good.
Well, I'm going to have some water and we'll go to the next one.
That's a good idea.
Our last one of the evening.
That's what I'm excited for.
This does drop a little bit in proof.
That's okay. What? I cannot read that. Oh, man. That smells amazing. Yes.
All right. So, last one of the night. This is Foursquare Isonomy. This is all ex-bourbon.
Okay.
This is 17 years old.
That's crazy.
Pot and column still. 58%.
Wow. Man.
And I got this one's about $160.
For a 17 year, that sounds about right. Man. I'm getting a little bit more nail polishy.
Okay. It's like a little bit of toasted marshmallow.
Yeah. Like the slightest bit of like kind of a little bit of a bourbon nose.
Yeah, marshmallow is really there. Okay. I tried this for the first time when I was house sitting for you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you find it then or did you
I had a existential crisis.
It's that good?
I'm like, oh my God. But I hadn't had it back to back with these other ones, so I'm not sure how it compares.
Okay, well, that's good.
But
well, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get it. Whoa. Wow.
I was afraid it was weak.
No.
And then it was like, nope, just kidding.
Wow.
Side eye.
That's crazy good. Oh, wow.
We're just doing our wows and all that. Oh,
wow.
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 This is like Owen Wilson on a jet ski.
I know. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Oh, I wish Zach was here.
Poor Zach.
This is so good.
That's too bad.
This is liquefied caramel candy on an oak plank with cinnamon. Oh, my goodness.
Man, it's good. I don't. Okay, I gotta try to do like.
If this was always on the shelf, I would always have a bottle.
100%. It just tastes brown sugar, like heavy brown sugar.
There's fruit notes in it too, though.
There is fruit notes.
It's like dark fruit.
Yeah, but I don't.
Pomegranates?
The problem is I can't say for sure.
There's
because
so many good flavors.
That's what I mean. It's like so many good flavors. It's so good.
We have not had that much. We have very small sips. We are so ecstatic just because the flavor is so good.
Man, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't believe that it's that like jam packed full of flavor. That's crazy.
Barbados knows where it's at.
Barbados.
My question is, why is the rum always gone? If I was a pirate,
Where's the rum?
Where's the rum?
Strawberries.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like a strawberry licorice. Almost.
Yeah. A little bit of earthiness.
Yeah.
I love it because it's there. It's got so much character.
Like the earthiness rounds it. Where it's not too sweet, but if it didn't have it, it would be not. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be balanced,
it would be,
right?
Yes, the balance is.
The balance would be off. They somehow balanced it so perfectly.
I need more Foursquare in my life.
Yeah, I realize this now. I need more Foursquare in my life.
Or just rum in general.
It's so good.
I mean, we cannot forget the Appleton Estate for a $35 spirit.
I know.
Oh, goodness.
For $35 spirit, that's that good, and it's got that funk, and it's like, man, that's good.
I hope it never goes away. I hope this does not turn into the bourbon boom that we see. I hope we're not going to be looking back at this and be like, remember when we had?
Yeah, remember when we were able to buy these and not have to spend $1 million on it? Ridiculous.
I hope it doesn't go there.
You know, I slightly have a feeling that I don't think it will.
It might not. I feel like it would have done it.
If it was going to, it would have, because I think it's because people don't necessarily.
Yeah, the hype is with bourbon.
Yeah, the hype is with bourbon, and I think
people
they think of it as it's like classy.
Yeah,
like bourbon is kind of classy.
I just think it's like the people that don't know only hear the noise, and right now the noise is for bourbon. Whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey.
And if that's all you hear, that's all you see, that's what you're going to try.
Which I don't necessarily think it's ever going to stop. The whiskey, at least.
I think it's still growing.
That's what I mean, is that it's not like in its infancy or anything now. I mean, it's pretty big, but it's got so much room.
It has potential to grow into more areas.
Yeah, to be huge, like way bigger. So if that's the case and that keeps happening, I mean, I'm not going to stop buying bourbon or any, whiskey in general, but I'm going to take advantage of buying these rums when I can, because they are really stinking good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we can say.
Yeah, that is top tier.
Any final thoughts? I think we're going to land this.
I say
we're gonna dock this ship, and we're gonna. Hang on, where's my phone?
We're bringing her into port. Drop an anchor.
We're gonna bring this ship into port. We gotta drop anchor, and we're gonna go get some Mai Tais on the beach.
We'll see you guys next time.
and follow us on Instagram. Follow us on wherever you get your podcasts. And if you got any suggestions, anything that you would like us to do, send us a message at the Whiskey House Pub House on Instagram. And we'll join you next time for the start of Bourbon Heritage Month.
Woo!
See you next time.